to Jake Jackets. Gear up to fire the cannon and hit the ice with your host, Jay Ashdown and Jake Gehringer.
That should be enough time. Okay, yeah, we got to keep this quick, but there's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There is absolutely a lot we got to get to. Because today's just been firing on all cylinders, and we should have expected this.
Yeah.
So, okay, first off, we're going to recap just a tiny couple things that happened last night, and then we'll get into draft stuff, and then a couple other announcements that I really wanted to get to, and then we've also got a couple of big trades. Whoa! Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought? So I don't really want to get into the meat and potatoes of this entry draft because it is kind of like a who's out there kind of draft, except for maybe a few players.
Yeah.
But like I said, we're starting Seattle. Okay, yes. First thing, thanks, Frank. So all of the picks.
Oh my God, that was ridiculous.
Thanks to Frank Saravalli and a little bit from Pierre LeBrun, we knew all the picks by 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Maybe even before that.
We had no reason to watch the show.
Which
honestly, is fine. That's not on the reporters though, as much as it is on the NHLs. They're just doing their jobs. But
yeah.
That's why it's frustrating that the NHL would screw it up that bad.
I would say maybe the because I know they have to have them in and make sure that everybody's following the rules and all of this stuff.
We didn't really have this problem with Vegas, did we?
I
don't recall us having this problem with Vegas. We knew a couple of things. We knew Fleury was going there. Yeah. I don't really remember many other players that we knew 100% were going to Vegas.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there were a couple of really tiny surprises out of the Seattle one, but nothing.
Yeah, especially the Columbus pick. I mean, I did not see it because I figured when we heard that they were really not going to take Max Domi, I was like, oh, so they'll probably take Dean Kukin or Kevin Stenlund, and then they took Gavin Bayreuther, and I was like, okay.
I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you.
I forgot, and I told this to the artillery guys. Replied to their tweet. I forgot we had him on the roster.
Yeah, he played at 7, 8, 9 games towards the end of the season.
He didn't even play 10 games, I think.
He didn't play 10 games. I know. Single digits in games that he played for the Blue Jackets. He looked all right, but God, he's 27 years old, and he was, I think, an unrestricted free agent. He easily could have signed him to a 2-way deal had he hit the market. It was a head scratcher for sure. I know that they're going for cap space, but I mean, what? Isn't Stenlund making $1.2 million or less?
Yeah, and right now Ron Francis has $30 million in cap.
Yeah. Which should help them, make a couple of these deals where they take on some bad contracts and they get extra assets, which I understand.
A couple big UFAs, maybe.
Yeah, if they want to, but I doubt that they even want to go big name hunting in their first
do it
free agent cycle.
Go all out, man. It's
if that's not the direction of your team, though, then it makes no sense because they've obviously put themselves in a position where they are absolutely trying to win further down the line.
Yeah, they're definitely
so signing a bunch of free agents right away doesn't really fit that plan. Whereas trading for bad contracts and getting assets, I think absolutely does.
I think they're definitely like they're trying to go somewhere in the middle between like full futures mode and what Vegas did. Like if they make one or two giant free agent signings, then awesome, do that. More power to you. You know, but they're not trying to win right away, which I mean, we didn't even think Vegas was going to do that.
Yeah, Vegas was interesting. You know, they got a couple really good players right off the bat that you knew were going to be contributors to them. Like when you see that they get David Perron and James Neal and Marc-Andre Fleury, you're like, okay, this guy's going to play. But it's like then William Karlsson breaks out, Shea Theodore breaks out.
I miss Bill.
Like, yeah. God, I
point.
loved him when he was here. I loved him when he was here.
Yeah.
I never thought that he had 40 goals in him, but I loved him when he was here. I was sad that he got picked, but
who would have thought he would be your top line center with Jonathan Marchessault and Riley Smith?
And those are two other guys that you felt like could probably produce there, because at the time Marchessault was coming off a pretty good year, but nobody thought that he was going to be what he is today. Mm-hmm. And I think the same deal for Riley Smith as well. They also made a couple side deals. I think they got Alex Tuch, I believe, in a trade and not the actual pick from Minnesota.
Yes, the pick from Minnesota was Howla, and they got Tuch in the trade to make sure that they picked him. And
even then, Eric Howla was a pretty good performer for them in their middle six, and then Alex Tuch became a key contributor in the top six. So like they hit it on every single thing. It's unbelievable. Like people think that the NHL just handed Vegas a great team on a silver platter.
Not really.
They got really creative and found ways to be good on their own.
Yeah, George McPhee, a Falcon alumni. Shout out to my BG peeps. He did a really good job, and then hiring McCrimmon, like as he got promoted, to carry that on. McCrimmon's also done a really, really good job.
They're a well-oiled machine, man. I mean, it's unbelievable. They've been in the league for 4 years, and they've just done it right. Hopefully, we get that same thing out of Seattle, because
they're a
perennial, I think Seattle's a good,
like right off the bat, ready for anything.
Yeah. They're basically a shoe-in to not only make the playoffs, but at least win a round just about every year.
At least, like the expectation right now for Vegas is still conference finals or more or bust.
Yeah.
Which is wild coming from like a team going into year 5 this would be?
Yes.
That's absolutely crazy to me. That's so crazy to me. So yeah, all the picks getting spoiled, which was nuts, except for I'm surprised we actually got a few right in our mocks.
Yeah, we did.
Like
I wasn't surprised with Dennis Cholowski, to be honest. I know a lot of people wanted him to take Troy Stetcher, but he only had 1 year left on his deal. I had a feeling they were going to go like really young on defense.
I wanted Stetcher.
And try and get guys who, you know, they have control over and they could build around for years to come. So I wasn't surprised with some of their picks. Some of them just blew me away.
There was that really young guy out of Philly that like Twerinsky or something.
Yeah, he's Karsten
like
Twerinsky.
And I was like, I didn't even know he existed.
A young guy who, if develops properly, can be a bottom 6 forward.
Sure. Okay, maybe that's probably why.
And like you're not going to get much more out of that kid than that, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you know, being a bottom 6 forward in the National Hockey League is a hell of a lot better than I ever was at hockey. But at the end of the day, it's an expansion draft, and there were so many guys available that they could have taken instead of that kid.
Right.
No offense to him, it's fact.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel the same with. I mean, obviously, the Bayreuther pick was weird to me still.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they can use him, that's awesome. You know, and the jerseys look sick. I'm not gonna lie.
I was talking with a friend earlier. It's like she and I agree. Like, there's nothing better than just a nice white jersey. Mm-hmm. Those away jerseys for the Kraken just look crisp.
With just like the little sea foam green cuff right there.
Yep. God. I just every team's got a good away jersey in my book because there's something just about a nice white jersey. I can never own one though because I'll get stains on it immediately.
Yeah. That's why I think the next time I'm able to go to a game with like either my brother or my cousin, I'm going to wear my jersey, my like personalized jersey that I always wear. And then I'm going to give them the reverse retro.
Yeah.
Just so they can wear something. And then the last thing, if I do end up getting a Seattle jersey, which honestly I might really want to, I'm going to get Brandon Tanev.
Seeing ghosts today?
Might be.
I like Brandon Tanev. He's a good bottom six forward.
Yeah,
he's speedy. He's a
great penalty killer, good player.
Great penalty killer. He's shut down defensively. He's a dream for any penalty kill unit.
Yeah, but just the fact that they used his 2020 official, like, weird freak out
headshot.
Picture.
Yeah. It's so funny.
I love that. That was the highlight of like highlights from what I was just watching on Twitter. That even does better than whoever caught the fish.
Yeah.
Like that was JT Brown, wasn't it, that caught it?
I believe so, yeah.
And good for him being on the broadcast team.
Yeah, I like him.
Along with another Falcon alumni in Evan Fitzhugh. He's doing radio play-by-play.
That's pretty cool.
Good for Ev. Yeah, okay, so we're moving on. I really just wanted to shoehorn the Tanev stuff in there.
Oh, yeah.
So entry draft. Like I said, this is really like we're just going to throw darts at the board kind of draft, right?
Yeah.
Except for maybe like a couple. We're thinking the only thing that I think is the shoe-in is Owen Power going first overall.
I disagree.
Well, you can disagree for just 5 more seconds because I really don't know whether Matty Beniers is going to go 2 or 3, that kind of thing.
I think he's probably going to go 2. I think Beniers is a shoe-in to go number 2.
I think if Seattle,
I think you're going to be surprised at where I have Owen Power going.
Really?
Yes. In my mock draft,
I didn't make one either. Just the one that's in my head. The one that's in my head.
Number 1, I have the Sabres taking William Eklund.
Oh, okay.
I really like William Eklund. I think they really like William Eklund.
Yeah.
I think they're really going to try and shore up their forward group. Mm-hmm. He's outstanding. I think some of the comments that Owen Power has made have been interesting. I think that there's some concern for Buffalo fans as far as that's concerned.
Well,
so what I have happening, I have Eklund going 1. Mm-hmm. I have Beniers going 2.
Right.
I have Owen Power going 3 to the Ducks.
Okay, that's interesting.
I have Luke Hughes going number 4 to the Devils. They'll pair.
Okay, he gets to play with Jack. That would be pretty fun.
And then number 5.
This is the one that you're hyping up, like that you really, really want. This is because Columbus has number 5.
Maybe this isn't really a prediction. This is just what I want to have happen.
Uh-huh.
I fucking love Simon Edvinsson. I want him so bad. Him so bad. He is so freaking good. He is going to be a stud.
I don't think I looked at any of the guys outside of maybe Luke.
Oh my God, dude. You got to watch this guy's highlights. His skating is unbelievable. He's great in transition. He looks like he can shut down things.
What's his natural position? Because again, I didn't look at him.
He's left defenseman. I know we already have one. Zach Werenski, but having 2 would be pretty fun.
like doing what's this kid's name?
Simon Edmondson.
Simon Edmondson. Okay, so like having Zach and then Simon like on your 1 and 2 left side.
Dude, your defense would be gross down the left side because you would have great offensive defenseman in Zach Werenski, another great offensive defenseman in Simon Edmondson, and then a great shutdown defenseman in Vlad Gavrikov. Boom, boom,
Oh,
boom.
bump Gabby down. Okay, that's interesting.
And I like Gabby. Well, we're probably not going to have Simon on the second pair to start. He'll probably start on the third pair if we draft him there.
Yeah.
But like eventually, like when he builds up his potential, God, if you have Vlad Gavrikov on your third pair, oh, are you in a good spot?
That sounds.
Dude, I love this. You gotta watch this
fun.
kid. This kid is going to be so good.
I guess we'll see.
He's 6'4" too.
That's a big boy.
He's huge.
That's a big boy.
Great puck handling, great skating, good shot. I mean, he's got it all, man. I like this kid a lot.
That's interesting. I like that. And again, I didn't really do a whole lot of like looking at prospects for this year because of how everybody's really not too worried about this draft.
Mm-hmm.
And how this is just like a mystery box draft, and how next year is like the Shane Wright sweepstakes and all of this crap, and we'll have a better idea. Like, you know, teams can scout better now with vaccinations and all of like being able to go to places now.
There is another guy that I think is very interesting in this draft at 5. I don't think the Blue Jackets would be this bold, but if the Blue Jackets have discussed the idea of potentially trading away one of their goalies this offseason. Yes, obviously that has maybe changed because of the tragedy of Matisse Kivlenieks.
Well, I mean, not to cut you off, but I saw something as recently as like a half an hour ago where there are rumors of there may have been a package with Korpisalo and Seth Jones going to Philly.
Yes.
So that was one like most recent rumor that I had heard.
Here's the deal. If you're keeping Merzlikins, I think Merzlikins can be your starting goalie for a long time. I think he can. I think he's the more surefire guy that you would extend. However, if the Blue Jackets management group is not confident that either guy can be your franchise goalie, you would deal Merzlikins because he can net you more back in a trade.
If you go after like say Sam Reinhart, he would be the guy in the package. So if you were to do that, you'd be keeping Korpisalo just for the next year, maybe even extend him for like another year or two. They're the same age, so it's not like
yes. Exactly. You're not really concerned about age. They both have 1 year left on their deal. They're both going to be unrestricted free agents at the end of it. So at this point, Merzlikins has more value because I think he's the better goalie.
Yes.
I don't think Korpisalo is the future. If you feel neither of these guys are your future, though, you deal Merzlikins. Hopefully, I don't know if it's Tarasov or Tarasov. How you pronounce it?
I think it's Tarasov.
Okay, I like him.
Daniel Tarasov is like how I've always said it.
I like him to be a very, very strong backup, as what I think he can be. So if you're going to go in the direction of trading Elvis, why not go with Jesper Wallstedt at 5?
That's true. Okay, yes. Jesper Wallstedt just because of scrolling.
I mean,
scrolling videos.
Really good.
He's another one that I have heard more of.
I doubt that the Blue Jackets go there at 5.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you at that point decide that your future, we are trading Merzlikins because we're not sure either of these guys are the future, that kid could be.
Well, it's like, what do they want their, like, what's the current identity now? And
yes.
What do you want?
We don't know what the identity is.
Because
exactly.
Before Torts' contract wore off, it was, little bit of skill, but mostly a grind you down, and if work hard and if we're lucky, we'll score a goal type of team.
Yes.
And then you add guys like Patrick Laine to hopefully, increase your scoring threats. So it's like where the strongest suit right now, even with Seth Jones wanting out, is in defense, I think.
For the most part.
Yes.
Because you got two strong guys in your top four on the left side in Werenski and Gavrikov.
Mm-hmm.
But on the right side, nothing but question marks with Seth Jones out of the picture.
Right.
So here's the thing. It depends on what you do with the Seth Jones trade, because we have heard, maybe they could make a deal with Dallas and John Klingberg would come back, and I like John Klingberg a lot.
Does
I
Kook
think
play right?
I'm sorry?
Does Kook play right?
He can play either.
He can play either side.
He's naturally probably a left side just because he's the left shot, but he has played the right side in the past.
Right, yes.
He is a guy that can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what? Kook on your third pair on the left or right side is fine. I like Kooks, but you have him anywhere higher than your third pair, you've got some problems.
Well, they still also right now they got the DJ of the NHL still.
Yeah. And you know what? Delzato had a very good year last year.
He started really, really strong, which was awesome.
My only concern is it seemed because he was fresh with the team.
Yes.
He had just signed a contract. Mm-hmm. So because he wasn't with the team for a while, Torts has a shelf life.
Yes.
And it was apparent last year that it came. His time was done.
Yeah.
His message had fallen stale. But one guy that it didn't fall stale with was Delzato, a guy that he had worked with previously because he just got there. And Delzato played well
in Vancouver,
under him.
Right? Was that in Vancouver?
New York.
Oh, New York. Okay.
So my
that was
question
a while ago,
is,
though.
he was like the only player really who Torts really got much out of. How is he going to play now that Torts isn't the coach?
I mean,
is he going to take a step back?
I think. Well, that falls on Brad and his coaching style, right?
Yeah.
So is he going to take some things that he's learned from John Tortorella and implement those? Is he going to do something completely different to let, is he going to do a mix? Like, is he going to let Patty roam free and Bjorky roam free, and then like the rest of the team,
I hope, man,
like they play, the way they need to play? How is that going to work?
Here's the thing with Lars. We talked about it last podcast. I'm going to give him a chance.
Yes.
And he seems like a very nice guy. And you know what? It was a while ago, and you never know, just because there's such an imbalance sometimes with the talents in the American Hockey League. But he did do well as a coach there for Springfield. Here is the actual problem I had with Brad Larson being the coach. It's not because, he ran our crappy power play, now he's the head coach.
Right.
My problem with Brad Larson is it feels like a hire that you're trying to keep the same thing alive. And I don't think that that's what this team needs. It seems like you're saying, okay, the last 5 years, yes, this last year is bad, but the 4 years prior to that under John Tortorella were the best 4 years in franchise history,
right,
bar none. And you won a playoff series against Tampa, and hell, you kind of won a playoff series against Toronto, I think. Not sure if you count it, give or take. But at the end of the
record
day,
books don't. But
it is the best 4-year stretch in franchise history where you made the playoffs every single year. And it feels like this is a team that does not have an identity, and they're trying to replicate the identity that they have had in the past. The problem is the players on this roster do not match that identity. Right. And that's a big problem as to why they didn't succeed last year. You're not going to turn Patrick Laine into a power forward. Right. You're not going to do the same thing with Oliver. You got to let Patrick Laine roam free. You got to let Bjorkstrand roam free. And you can let Bjorkstrand do that because he's responsible defensively. Yeah. I know Patrick Laine isn't, but that's just something you just have to accept. There's just some things that you can't make players do. If
Right.
you acquire like the Coyotes did today, Shane Gostisbehere, you are not putting him on your first pairing to be a shutdown defenseman.
We'll get
You're
to him
putting
in a
him
minute.
on your power play. You're putting him on the second pair, and you're saying roam free. We know you're going to make some mistakes defensively, but make plays offensively.
Yeah,
You can't expect everything out of every player. And if Patrick Laine is a great goal scorer, which he is,
yes,
let him score goals.
I think if we're going to steer this back to Larson, just to kind of put a bow on this, because we've got a lot still on this list.
Yes, we do.
I think one thing that, because we still technically have Del Zotto and guys that worked well under the Tortorella system and that kind of thing, and we have guys that really don't, I think the meshing and blending of those styles, maybe like a 70-30 kind of blending, would help a lot.
Yeah.
So
I just want to see a change in how the team is run,
mm-hmm.
like in terms of how they're coached. Like I want to see new system. I want to see more speed and skill being implemented. Your defense will suffer. Like, look, the forte of this team the last 5 years has been your defense because of guys like Werenski and Seth Jones.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously Gavrikov when he burst on the seat. David Savard was a warrior his entire time as a Blue Jacket.
Mm-hmm.
He's awesome.
If he comes back, I would love that.
I got his jersey, and of course we traded him for next to nothing. I love Marcus Nudavara. He was awesome for us
when he was great for a while.
And when he was healthy, Ryan Murray was really good for us, and I understand why we traded him. But like that was the forte of the team. Yes, that was the forte of the team. It was your defense. That is no longer really your forte. You've got some good pieces on your defense, but your defense is not 1 to 6. Your top 6.
Yes,
as sound as it has been in previous years. But you know what's better than previous years? Your overall forward talent.
Yes.
Sure, guys like Domi and Laine don't play defense, but God, they can make plays for you, man.
Yes.
That's what they do. You gotta let them be them. When Domi is healthy, I want to see him be Max Domi. When Patrick Laine, you put him on the first line, I want to see him be Patrick Laine. You can rely on Bjorkstrand to be a two-way guy. You know, Gus Nyquist is going to be back at some point this year. I think he's going to be back to start because he was out for this entire season.
I don't know.
He should be healthy by the time that the season starts, and he is a big addition to this team.
I hope so, because he was the small amount of time that we got to see him when he first got here. Oh, he was so much fun.
And frankly, there's some guys offensively who we've seen, we've seen sparks from them.
Yes.
But we haven't seen them develop offensively the way that we want to under Tortorella. Mm-hmm. And look, here's the thing. It's not anything against Tortorella or Brett
And it's
Larson.
It's not like a Barry Trotz all systems go on defense kind of coaching either.
It's simply, this is a guy who wants to play a defensive style of hockey. It's smart because if you have a good defense that the Blue Jackets did the last 5 years, you keep everything to the outside. You significantly help out your goalies, which they did. Korpisalo was a freaking all-star in the 2019-2020 season before he got hurt. And then Merzlikins bursts onto the scene.
Yeah. Elvis was in the building.
He's outstanding. So we've seen that it works. So the problem is you sometimes you see regression offensively from some of your players offensively, and it's just something you kind of deal with as a result of it. Now, the big thing for me is, do I expect the Blue Jackets to be a playoff team this year? No.
Fringe, maybe.
I don't even know about that. But
well, because we're back in the Metro, that's the thing.
That's why. That's a major part of it.
Yeah.
The reason that the thing I'm looking for this season is the development of young players. Mm-hmm. I want to see a little bit more out of Kevin Stenlund. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not expecting this guy to be a 30-goal scorer or even a 20-goal scorer. But, God, if this guy could put up, like, 40 points, like 30 to 40 points in a middle six role, that's decent. I want to see more out of Emil Bemstrom, and the most important one,
I would love
frankly,
more out of Bemmer.
I want more out of Texier.
Yes, that's a big one. That's a huge one.
That's the biggest one of them all.
Like whether you put Texier, like whether Alex plays wing or center, because we know we have a plethora of guys, especially if
we only have forwards who can do both.
Yeah, if we even like, because Nick Foligno still has his house and his family here. If he comes back, which I have a feeling,
I doubt, but let's say that he does.
I have a feeling he may, but I mean, if he wants to go to Minnesota to play with Marcus, good for him.
That's ultimately what I see happening.
His family,
it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity,
His
family. He's not going to sell that house.
So
yes, absolutely. He's not going to leave Columbus. He loves the city here. Yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised on a 1 or 2 year deal if he's like, you know what? I mean, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to play with my brother.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. But, like, again, we have guys. We have literally a Russian stacking doll of players that can do nothing but both.
Yes. And that's the thing. It's nice, but it's also frustrating because we don't have one true center on this team.
Correct.
We have nothing but guys that he can play wing or center. We need a number one center, one who can literally play the center position 24/7, and that's part of the reason I really want them to just throw a blank check at Phil Danault, because you know that he is your true number one center. But it's like Domi. Oh, he could play. He also plays the wing. Boone plays the wing. Roslovic is probably the most true center out of all of them. But God, I mean, he played the wing sometimes in Winnipeg.
I mean, so did Robinson when he went there.
A left winger, but can also sometimes play center. It's like, when does it end?
I mean, I like having versatile forwards.
It's good to have some versatility. It's a problem when you don't have any true centers, because that's the most important position.
Correct. Yeah, that's definitely a big, like, weird spot that they're in. And I have a good feeling that because I know JD was out for 2 years, right? But with him back with JK, with Yarmo, them together, they will absolutely know how to right this ship and do it well.
Here's what an opinion I have, and I want to get your take on it.
Mm-hmm.
I like Yarmo. I do.
I do too.
Yarmo, like every general manager in the National Hockey League, is not perfect.
Right.
Yeah. As far as righting the ship, though, I feel a hell of a lot more comfortable with John Davidson being back with the team than I do if we had to go through this without him. I'm not 100% sure Yarmo can do this on his own. So I'm glad that JD's back. It's not like a discussion about like how, like, should John Davidson be back or should Yarmo be the GM? I'm just like, I like Yarmo. I think he's got some limitations as a GM.
Yes, as they all do. I mean,
as they all do.
Like, I mean, even like hell, look at what Zito did in Florida when he didn't. Bill
Zito's freaking. Yeah, I like Bill Zito a lot. I was sad to lose him, and I'm not surprised that he's doing so damn well in Florida. But like with Yarmo, we have
let's get to your
Vegas debacle, but we also have the Panarin trade, which was great.
Yeah,
and the original Brandon Saad trade, which was also good. Like he won both Brandon Saad trades, so it's like I look at all the things Yarmo's done, and it's like for every 2 good things that he has done, there's also one like bad thing. The problem is the bad things are almost usually really pretty bad.
Well, he's not the only kind of GM that does that either. And that's my honest take, is like looking at the broad scope of things. I'm not going to solely blame him for these problems because of these one bad trade every couple, because he's not the only kind of person that does that.
Yes, he's not. For me, like trying to rebuild this thing. Here's the thing that we just have to deal with. Columbus is not a small city, but it is considered a smaller market.
Yes.
And because of that, even though it's a nice city, I like it. We struggle with getting free agents, and we
Right.
struggle with player retention for one reason or another. We saw it with Panarin. We saw it with
Right.
people bring up Bobrovsky, but I don't even know if that's true. He signed 2 contracts while he was here. He
Yeah.
chased the bag in Florida, but we saw it with Dubois.
I mean, I still love
and
the
now
guy.
Seth
I'm not
wants
gonna,
out.
like,
Yeah,
I have a Bobrovsky jersey for a reason, and there's a reason
Yeah.
why it was my first jersey purchase.
God, there's a reason I wore 72 when I was a goalie.
Ah.
I like him. I mean, it is kind of nice to feel vindicated seeing him struggle in Florida, but at the same time, I can't root for him to fail. I like him.
Yeah. I want to see him do well even as he ages.
Yes.
Like, that's just...
We know that the decision to let him walk was the correct one.
Yeah.
I don't want to see him suck, though. That's not fun for me.
Right. I want to see him be a good mentor to Spencer Knight, who, as we've seen with his flash, it was amazing.
That's still so wild to me. Spencer Knight's one of the best goaltending prospects this league has seen since Carey Price.
Honestly.
The Panthers selected that kid and then, like, 1 week later signed Bobrovsky to a 7-year contract. And, like, I get it. They needed a starting goalie, but holy hell. What were they thinking on that one?
I mean, I guess they were thinking we need an heir to the throne of Roberto Luongo, and this is a guy who's entering his second half of his 30s, like, or second half of his career into his 30s. Not everybody
that was a head scratcher by that regime.
Not everybody can be currently 4th overall in wins because he got passed up by an active player.
Yeah.
Like, before we move on to Edmonton, and I know we got to make this a shorter show, like, can we just talk about Fleury for a second and how he is an active goaltender who's already into the upper echelons of the greatest goalies we've ever seen in the NHL, 3rd all-time in wins and whatever the hell other stats you want to throw in there.
What's not talked about enough with this guy, one of the things that we talk about, like, all the time, and I'm going to compare this to basketball actually for a second, is comparing, and now I'm not going to say that Marc-Andre Fleury is the LeBron James of hockey. No. That'd be stupid. But one thing that we always talk about with LeBron is, like, it's incredible to think that we had these absurd expectations on LeBron when he went 1st overall to Cleveland.
Right.
And he got past all of them. He smashed every expectation he ever had.
Right.
And took it even higher than anything we ever expected. Now, you can never really hype those kind of expectations on a hockey player. We never have it that high. We never look at a 1st overall pick and be like, this guy should be better than Mario Lemieux.
Well,
you know what I mean? We never do that. A lot of times they'll be like, oh, is he going to be the next McDavid? And it's like, no, he's not. He's going to be very good, but he's not going to be the next McDavid because there's only one McDavid for a reason.
Like I said,
anyway,
that's why I said because I was like, McDavid is maybe the only one.
Yeah.
That has even a chance in hell. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. There's only 2 goalies who have ever been selected 1st overall, and the 2 goalies are hilarious. Well, one is Fleury, and the other one's Rick DiPietro. So, Rick DiPietro obviously did not. One.
How did you said that?
One did not obviously live up to really any of those expectations, and was also awarded with the most hilarious contract in the history of hockey. But Marc-Andre Fleury, man,
I hope
goalies are such a crapshoot.
Yeah,
they're such a crapshoot.
I hope
select
Mikey
the guy
does better.
1st overall. Yeah, I do too. Like, it's such a crapshoot with goalies. Like, we've seen so many guys get taken in 1st rounds that, like, you never hear of again. Chet Pickard, do you remember him? 1st round pick of the Predators, 11th overall. You never heard of him. He never played a game in the NHL.
I know a Calvin Pickard, but no.
Yeah, they're related.
That makes sense. Okay.
So yeah, Calvin's brother was drafted in the first round by Nashville. Never played a game in the NHL.
Sheesh.
Jack Campbell was selected 11th overall.
By
He had a good
Dallas,
season
yeah.
last year by
And
Dallas,
he was
but
awesome.
he took forever. He took
Yeah.
forever to get up. It wasn't until like 2018 when he was with the Kings. He wasn't even with Dallas,
Right.
where he finally became a backup. And it wasn't until this year before he became a starter. In the National
he
Hockey
didn't
League.
become a starter. He got a starter workload.
Yes. Well, he got the job after Freddie Anderson.
After
was
Freddie
struggling
went down.
and then got
And,
hurt.
yeah.
You know, so he had the job in the playoffs, which I think is significant over Freddie, who was healthy at that time. That's
Because
why I think
did you see any of Freddie's American Hockey League starts?
Yes. He looked terrible.
Ugh.
But the point here is that I'm trying to make ultimately is
Mhm.
it is such a crapshoot with goalies in the first round.
Yes.
The fact that Marc-Andre Fleury was selected first overall, even
Mhm.
though we know goalies are crapshoots, and this dude went on to win 3 Stanley Cups. He just won the Vezina.
Correct.
The first time in his
Vezina,
career.
yeah.
He has a Vezina under his belt. He's got 3 Stanley Cups under his belt. The one that he won in 2009 with the Penguins, he was unbelievable. If Evgeny Malkin wasn't as dominant as he was in the playoffs, he probably would have won the Conn Smythe.
Because that core was Crosby, Malkin, Fleury, and then those other two
And they also
cups.
had, Jordan Stahl and Chris Letang
Yeah.
and Sergei Gonchar. Those teams were really, really good.
Wild.
It's unbelievable. This dude was in Pittsburgh for so long, lived up to really every expectation you could put on a number 1 overall pick for a goaltender.
Correct.
And he is still unbelievable. Maybe even getting better with age. There was a time where this guy was really stinking it up in the postseason for the Penguins for 2010 to 2013.
And then he
2014.
lost the job to Murray, and then Murray lost the job to Jari.
Yeah, it's crazy how things have happened for the Penguins. But Murray won the Stanley Cup for the Penguins in 2016. It's not talked about enough how even though Marc-Andre Fleury wasn't the guy starting the games in the Stanley Cup finals for the Penguins when they beat the Predators the next year, Marc-Andre Fleury was unbelievable. He was the starting goalie when the Penguins beat us and when they beat Washington, I believe, in the next round. And then the third round.
Because who else would it have
Ottawa.
Been?
Right.
Who else would it have been other than Washington?
Right, exactly. So, this dude came in because remember, Murray was the starter.
Mm-hmm.
Warm-ups for Game 1 against the Blue Jackets, he got hurt. Right. And he had to come in, and he held down the fort. I know people were like, "Oh, but he was the backup for when they won 2 of those Stanley Cups." You know what, man? It's not talked about enough how good Fleury was in those playoffs in 2017, holding down the fort for the Penguins before Murray came back.
Mm-hmm.
He has had an unbelievable career.
He is in that he's one of those. It's weird how we think of guys while they're still playing, and yet you look at a guy while he's still playing, and you can still say it's weird how you can say this guy is in the legendary tier. You know what I mean?
I don't know if it necessarily just stats based if I want to put him in the legendary, but he is a Hall of Famer, no doubt about it.
Oh, yeah. And it's weird watching guys who are shoe-in Hall of Famers still play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, we get to see that with Fleury. We got to see that the whole entire postseason with Carey Price.
Yeah.
Which was fun. And frankly, God, I mean, he's only 26 years old. I think he's 26. He may have turned 27 at some point, but God, back-to-back Stanley Cups, man. I mean, we're going to be talking about Vasilevsky in that way soon.
Oh, for Vasi? Dude.
Yeah.
The guy's only 26. What is going on? I tweeted about that. I quote tweeted that after he won the Conn Smythe, and our Calgarian Time Lord buddy, Kevin, right? He tweeted me back and he was like, that's frightening. That's straight up scary.
He turns 27 in 3 days on the 25th.
He's scary.
It's crazy, man. He's only going into the next season. He's going to be 27 years old, and this dude, back-to-back Stanley Cups, unbelievable goalie.
Disgusting. And his signature move is that one where he flings his glove arm back behind
on
him
Anze Kopitar, yeah.
Oh boy.
That was one of the craziest saves I've ever seen.
Yuck.
Because we've seen some incredible saves over the year, and sometimes like when you see saves, you're like, I've seen this save before. You know what I mean? It's incredible. But like the one save that's incredibly popular, that's impressive every time, is goalie's down, puck comes here, go across with the stick. How many times have you seen that?
Oh, those paddle saves.
They're unbelievable.
Yeah.
But like we see like those like once, twice, maybe 3 times a year. They're still unbelievable. But how many times have you seen a goalie basically almost kind of like flopping forward a little bit, reach with his glove behind his back and stop a puck? Never seen that before in my life.
Exactly. Because those paddle saves.
That's the coolest save I've ever seen.
This year was the year of the paddle save.
Yeah.
Because there was at least like.
Well, because Carey Price is making about one of them.
Saves, right?
Carey Price is making one of them a game in the playoffs, it seemed like.
Okay. Now that we're done gushing about your favorite position, we really need to move.
That's fair.
Actually, we're not done with your favorite position. Because what the hell is Ken Holland doing signing Mike Smith to 2 years? Like, I get that the term, like the money is really, for him, tiny.
It's reasonable.
You know, it's reasonable. It's what, like a 2.2 hit?
I guess the idea here is because you're signing him right now, he's over 35. If the hope is either he's going to be on the Oilers after this season or he's going to retire.
Right.
I guess that's the line of thinking. But frankly, like, I know he had a good season, but I'm too much of an analytics nerd to sign a goalie who's 39 years old to any contract, let alone a 2-year deal.
Well, then you also have Mikko Koskinen, who's like 36.
He's not that old.
He's 35, 36.
I'm pretty sure he's like 32.
Oh, yeah, maybe he is 32, 33. He definitely looks like he could be on a 35-plus contract, though.
Yeah, definitely. He's 33.
33, okay.
He just turned 33 on the 18th.
Okay.
This is the podcast of the July birthdays. By the way, mine is today the 22nd?
Yes.
8 days.
Okay. Well, I'll text you.
Speaking of goalies whose birthdays are in July.
And I will definitely make sure to text you on my way to Gatlinburg because we're doing like 4 shows and then we're both going on vacation.
Fun stuff.
It's weird going on a trip like just starting a show, but I mean, we all need.
I will actually be in Amish country for my grandparents' 50th anniversary. Ask me if I'm excited about it.
Are you excited about it?
No, I am not.
Okay, yeah. Kenny, I know you're a smart guy. I'm addressing Ken Holland, an legendary NHL GM, as if he's just like some guy I live next to.
Look, I mean, here's the thing. This is one of the times where we can use my thing that I used last podcast, where a couple statements can be true at the same time. Yes, Ken Holland is a legendary GM in the National Hockey League.
Yes.
He built some incredible Red Wings teams.
Yeah.
He won a lot of Stanley Cups.
He was in the playoff 25 years in a row.
However, he is also the downfall of the Red Wings with some of the hilarious contracts that he gave out.
The Datsun contract ghost.
Way past. Like he's out of it. Like the game has passed him, and it's fine because that happens sometimes. It doesn't. At least he didn't his legacy is incredible,
like Chiarelli did.
He might get there. He might. I'm not going to put it past good old Ken Holland to be able to do that. I mean, look what he did with Detroit. But
I'm gonna move Fossa to scar you here for a second. Is that a challenge?
He might make it one. I'm not gonna lie. I'm scared. I am scared shitless for the Oilers right now. Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, hang in there, buddies.
I mean, hell, not even just those guys. Like Kyler and fucking Ethan Bear and Nuge, who just signed this gigantic deal. It's like guys, we're
That's
praying
the one
for
good
you.
thing Edmonton did this offseason. That's a
Is
reasonable
the Nuge deal?
for
Yes.
Nuge. Yes.
I like the Nuge deal. But yes, we're
Everything
praying for you guys
else,
hard. Oh, anything else like weird? Well, let's get back to Columbus. They announced that they are reuniting in the ECHL with the Kalamazoo Wings. I like it.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know enough about like the connection between like the American Hockey League and the East Coast League to really have an opinion. I was not aware who was our East Coast League team before this.
I don't think they had one.
Interesting.
I think for a couple of years, I think there are teams that have like multiple, and then there's like teams that don't have any for a couple of years, and then they'll reach an agreement, and it's like it's weird. I don't know how those deals work because like the pipeline is super strange. It's like, do you sign the deal with the American League club? Do you sign it with the National League club? Like where does this go? Because, you know, the East Coast League is like third tier down the rung. It's like AA baseball, right?
It's like AA baseball, but you rarely see guys from AA ever get to the major leagues.
To the show, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's weird to me, and I mean, I technically have just maybe slightly a bit more knowledge than you in this because
you probably do, yeah.
Because I live near Cincinnati, and we've got the Cyclones.
The Cyclones, yeah.
And my aunt works for the teams like around that area for like a certain thing. I don't know exactly what she does, or she at least did. So she got us like jerseys recently, and it was really cool. And like Kelly Cup jerseys.
Yeah.
They were great. But yeah, we've got Cincinnati down here, so I kind of have a little bit of ECHL knowledge, and I think they're affiliated with Buffalo right now. So, ooh.
I believe they are, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm excited that they reached an agreement. That's kind of fun, right?
Yeah.
Cool for player development. The regular season schedules came out today, like as we started recording this.
I haven't gotten the chance to check them out.
I haven't gotten the chance to look at Columbus's. I should have been scrolling Twitter to try to find it, but I had my notes up the whole time.
We can maybe talk about that next podcast if you'd like to.
Yeah, we'll talk about it Tuesday.
Just to give us a chance to look it over.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm excited to know who we see in the home opener. Yeah, that's for sure. Our buddy, Calvert, Matty Hustle, announced his retirement
Good
today.
on him, man. A little sad because, you know, I thought he had a little bit more hockey in him, and he was so awesome for us.
And it was he was amazing. Career. Yeah, 556 games, and for a career middle to bottom six guy, even top 9 guy if you want.
He was consistently on our third line on the wing.
Usually, yeah. And what I said today in my little in my tweet that I sent out under the Avalanche's tweet of all things, because Columbus's posts hadn't come out yet. No, I said it under the Hockey Guys video. I was like, he was amazing, super fast, loved checking, loved doing his thing along the boards.
And you know what he loved the most? Scoring overtime goals in the playoffs on the road. Once in Pittsburgh, once in Washington. That one in Washington was like one of my favorites because he didn't even have both of his hands on his sticks. He had like the one hand on the one, and he kind of just flicked it with his leg.
He did the Blake Coleman, but with his leg.
Yeah, like because he had a wide open net. He just was like, I just need to get it on. It's just one of the weirdest goals ever, but I loved him, man. I mean, and I was there at the game against the Rangers where
touching my nose.
A puck up high and. Yeah, had to get multiple stitches and came back shorthanded, got the game-winning goal. It was unbelievable. The crowd was nuts. And I remember it so specifically because I saw him go down and he was gushing blood, and I was there with my mom.
Oh.
And we both looked at each other and we're like, so what point in the third period is he coming back?
Oh yeah,
because it's Matt Calvert. So like, and then when he came back, we were like, yep, there he is, and then he scores the game-winning goal.
I mean, think about what happened. You know, if we're going to talk about injuries like that, think about what happened. What was it, 2 years ago now, with the Canucks and Pettersson inadvertently blasting him in the base of his skull. And it was like, you know, he went down just like sacrificing to block the shot, and he got cut at the base of his head.
Yeah.
And then so like PD stops playing and is trying to wave, you know, to stop the play. And McKinnon is over here saying, hey, let's not. Landeskog's over here trying to protect him. It's like this whole deal. And it's just how they did not stop the play under that serious of a circumstance. Like how they didn't deem that serious enough. I'll never understand it.
I know he lost the series in 5, so it wasn't like, oh my God, it was completely game changing. It changed everything. But like, God, I can't help but think about
that overtime goal,
the Zach Werenski one.
Oh, yeah.
Where we were leading in that game, and he goes down. He is bleeding on the ice. Can we please get a whistle? And then they score. Right. And I'm like, that's the NHL for you.
So why? One last thing on Calvert. Just wanted to point this out because I loved this line when I like first got into this team. Calvi on the left, Doobie at center, Cam at right.
Yeah, that
was dynamite. I loved it because it was fast. They'll hit you hard. They'll just.
That was an absurdly fast line.
It was such a good line.
Doobie and Matt were scrappy as hell, and then you had the skill really on the right with Cam.
On the right with Cam. And I mean, Doobie had plenty of skill himself, but you know, it was just
underrated how good Doobie and Cam worked well with each other.
Yes,
I think.
Absolutely. Totally. Okay. We got one kind of big thing, and then we're gonna get to the trades, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Sounds good to me.
So it was announced today from Mark Bergevin, I got this from multiple people, that Shea Weber's missing all of next year.
I think we've seen.
And I mean, we kind of knew about that.
In the National Hockey League. Yeah.
That's so freaking sad because he's just, I mean, Mike.
It's sad, man, but it's like, here's the thing that we need to talk about with Shea
Babcock
Weber.
said it best. He's a man Milton, you know?
God, I hate Mike Babcock.
I hate Mike Babcock too, but I will say his impression is fun.
The thing with Shea Weber that we need to talk about with him, as sad as this is, rather than being sad that his career is likely over, we need to celebrate how a defenseman, as big as that guy is, as physical as that guy is, played at that high level as long as he did is remarkable.
It's amazing. And I mean, to watch a guy like him play, I've been to only so many games, and I don't even know if I even got a chance to see him in person. Right. So
I remember I got a chance to see him with both Montreal and Nashville.
Oh, that's fun.
I saw him. It was the last game of the 2013 season against Nashville where we won 3-1, but we needed Colorado to beat Minnesota in order to make the playoffs, and it didn't happen.
Tough.
He scored a goal in that game. And the other time I know for a fact that I saw him was the time that the Blue Jackets beat Montreal 10-0. And
that game was amazing.
Yeah, I was there at that game. Not only did we beat Montreal 10-0, Shea Weber played, I think, like 25 minutes in that game, and he was a goose egg. He was even. They got outscored 10-0, and he wasn't on the ice for a single one of those goals.
That's okay. That's just smart shift management. You know.
So I don't know. Smart shift management when you're seeing that guy play would be playing him all 16 minutes.
I mean, sure.
Clearly nobody else had it.
The one thing that I'll remember Shea Weber for, not just for his physicality, but the way he's able to use that in his play.
Yeah.
because there was this one highlight from a recent season in Montreal where he just completely, he's waiting for it and he blasts this shot. I think it was in LA or against LA. Yeah, it was against LA. Blasts this slap shot. It smacks Matt Roy, rebounds, comes all the way back to him, and he bats it at the same speed, power, everything out of mid-air and scored. Like, what?
He is one of the best defensemen that we've had the chance to see really in our lifetime, I think.
That's like mutant shit. Like,
it's incredible that
I'm trying not to cuss as much, but like that's mutant shit.
He became a restricted free agent back, I believe, in 2012.
It was
and
10 or 12.
Philadelphia.
And the Philly offer
Philadelphia was such a ridiculous offer. But at the same time, it's incredible. The Predators matched that offer sheet.
David Poile.
And even though this guy is his career is going to end before that contract is over and there's still significant time on it, it was still worth it to do it. It's not a decision you look back on like, oh, you should have let him walk. No, it was 100% worth it for them to do that.
Well, then that's going to be the big decision, isn't it? Is like the recapture penalties for that deal are so robust.
They're significant.
Only to Nashville. Like, Montreal's not going to get a chunk of that.
Yeah. And even then, I still say that it was worth it for them to do it because of the service that he gave them the next several years and the fact that they flipped him for PK Subban, who was significant for them in their cup run. And then they got rid of Subban right before
he
really
started
got bad with him.
In the bed.
Yeah. He was just starting to, and they were like, okay, we are going to get out of this immediately. And people made fun of them, like, what? A second round pick and two, like, really low end prospects for PK Subban.
And then you start
does that not look like a steal now?
Honestly, kind of does.
Yeah. It's tidy work by David Poile, who's been kind of out of it the last couple of years. Him and Doug Wilson are two very good GMs who have been kind of out of it recently, but they still have made a couple good deals.
I feel like if you talk to my buddy Cody, who I did my last show with that didn't run so long, he'll tell you all about Doug Wilson. And
boy, is it getting rough in San Jose?
Yeah, and I mean the fact that they only lost a guy like True is interesting.
I thought that they were gonna get Donato.
I thought they were going Shimmick.
Slam dunk.
I thought they were going Shimmick. Shimmick would have been fun.
Yeah.
And speaking of trades, we're gonna end on these because oh my god, these two trades, I'm surprised there weren't more that were this huge.
Yeah, same. I am too. Let's talk about the Goss one first.
We'll go to Ghost first.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like Shane Gostisbehere a lot. You know, I mentioned him earlier. We talked about him, I believe, on the last podcast. Why I wouldn't select him in the expansion draft, knowing that they had to trade assets along with him to get rid of his contract. This is really smart of Arizona. They just did this, you know, like a week ago with Andrew Ladd. Right. So it's a second round pick and a 7th round pick.
I'm pulling this up just so I can follow along with this.
And here's the thing: he's only got 2 years left on his deal, and for Arizona, this is a
second
guy
and a 7th. Yes, okay.
You plug this guy in on your second pair, and you let him run your power play.
Right.
And you know what? Like Philadelphia is doing this solely because they need the cap space.
Well, no,
he is not so bad.
I wouldn't say solely because they need it. I feel like the relationship aspect of it plays into it a little bit as well.
100%. But relationships don't necessarily 100% dictate the value this badly.
I mean,
this was solely a situation where you needed to attach assets with him because you're taking on the salary. You need that relief. Arizona's providing it for you, and that's why you have to attach these assets to it. With Gostisbehere, It's not bad for the Coyotes because he only got 2 years left on his deal.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, you know, I don't think are they going to re-sign Goligoski? I don't know.
Maybe. Well, okay. Now that they have Ghost,
I don't think they have to.
Well, again, now that they have Ghost, what's that fair for OEL too? Like, what's that going to look like?
Yeah, I don't know. They're gonna have to get rid of OEL, and because my vision for the Coyotes, if I'm running that team, is my first pair. Obviously, I have Chikrin on the left, and then the second pair, I have Gus Despair on the left. And you have two good offensive defensemen in Chikrin and Gostisbehere. And who knows? Maybe Gostisbehere maybe he can find his game again in Arizona with less responsibilities than he had with the Flyers, and maybe that could be a long-term relationship between those two.
I strictly bring up Ekman-Larsson because, you know, he is the captain of that team, and it's weird how this is frayed so much. And I mean, I'm just the kind of person that really likes looking at the actual relationships that players build with their team a lot more than just like strictly a numbers thing or a money thing. I like to really focus on the people aspect of these guys. That's
a rough one with OEL.
That's just how I am.
That's a broken relationship right there. And the contract is not good. His numbers have completely diminished the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. His value is significantly lower than it would have been 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And this might be one where the Coyotes just kind of have to take the L to get rid of him.
I don't know what you do, man. I don't know what you do. It's weird. And I wonder if you could, I know that's a broken relationship, but if you don't move him, what if because I know he's not going to third pair because it's Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Hell no. What if he's able to like transition to the right and you put him with Jake or something?
It's an interesting idea. Frankly, like you talk about the relationships though, man.
Because we've seen guys do that. Like TJ Brody's a left-hand shot that plays on the right. Like,
yeah, and he's very good. My thing is like, it's not a bad idea, but I think that relationship is broken beyond repair.
And that's just such a shame because he was such a cornerstone player for them. He's like, when it comes to relationships between a player and a team, it's not as close as Shane Doan was with the Jets / Coyotes, but it's about there, which is really tough to swallow.
Yeah, for the last 15 years, like up until he retired, like when you thought of the Coyotes, you thought of Shane Doan.
Yeah, and then
after
for a while,
Shane Doan retired, when you thought about the Coyotes, the number one guy was Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
Exactly.
Obviously, his play has diminished. He is not that same guy anymore. He is
still the face of that team at this point.
Because he's getting paid to be the face of the team. That's the kind of money that he is making, and that's why it's so hard. Like what is a return that you can get for Oliver Ekman-Larsson that you can feel satisfied with?
Yeah,
the return is never going to be significant because teams know your relationship is broken. They know that he's overpaid. The Coyotes are not going to get a decent return for this guy unless they retain some salary.
Right.
And the problem with retaining salary is you can do it on certain contracts. It is a bitch to do on long-term contracts.
Oh yeah. Because the percentages,
what does he have?
All of that, it's weird.
What does he have left on his contract?
What does he have left? Let me cap friendly. You're a savior. Oliver.
Because it's not short. I know that. I think it's at least 4 years.
Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Sorry, trying to see him here. He has. We're going into 21-22, right?
Yeah.
And there's a no move clause throughout this entire thing.
And he will be willing to.
And it goes. Hold on. It goes through 2026, 27.
God, that's such a hard deal to retain salary on.
It's tough. It's like
that's why it is so tough with this guy.
Hold on, I want to see if I can try. Oh, yeah.
It's not a contract that you can really buy out. It's not a contract that you're going to feel comfortable retaining salary on.
Well, I want to see what happens if I do click this buyout tool. And what do we got? Cap
I'm going to
hit.
freaking cry when I hear this.
Cap hit. Cap hit. Wait, I got to find out where. No. Cap hit calculations. Cap hit total. Okay. Okay, so it starts getting bad in 24-25. No, because 22-23 would be tough. 22-23 would be okay. I'm just gonna run through this whole thing. Now, like this year, if they bought him out now, would be $236,000, right?
Okay.
22-23. $5,486,000.
Oh my God!
You want to know what? Okay, you ready for a crazy part?
God, what?
It goes back down to 236 for the next year for 23-24.
Okay.
Weird to me.
Okay.
It's weird that it goes right back down, but then it goes right back up. 2.7.
Okay, that's more manageable.
5.4.
Oh.
5.4, 27-28, 2.4, 2.4, 2.4, 2.4, until 32-33. That's if they bought him out now.
Oh, good Lord. You know, buddy, I told you earlier, I've been sick as a dog the last couple of days.
We're gonna let's get
and
to this last trade then. I
actually yacked earlier. I might need to yak again after hearing
those numbers.
Earlier is because I was sick. Now it's because I heard those freaking numbers for that buyout.
Yikes.
Holy hell.
Oh man. And again, that's just experimenting. That's like me just screwing around.
Oh my God. I want to cry after hearing that.
Oh boy. Okay, we got off on a Yotes tangent there. We got to get to this last trade. What the hell is Don Waddell thinking? Detroit acquires Alex Nedeljkovic, the Calder finalist Alex Nedeljkovic from Carolina for a goalie.
Parma, Ohio.
Ohio boy. Hey, like that.
Parma's like 15 minutes from me.
I know. My cousin lives there, and her little son who plays hockey, former Blue Jacket is his coach.
Who?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Pain.
It's kind of fun. I thought that was really fun. But yeah, so Detroit gets Nedeljkovic. Carolina gets a third-round pick in this year's draft and rights to Jonathan Bernier. Even though it literally just, like the trade tracker, it says goaltender Jonathan Bernier. It doesn't say his rights because, like.
But he doesn't have a contract next year, right. So it is his rights. Now, here's the thing. I like Jonathan Bernier the last couple of years.
I do too.
Jonathan Bernier's analytics have been actually very good
on
like
an
awful Red Wings team.
He's been
good.
Amazing.
He's been very good.
Yes. He's been extremely solid, exactly the minimum that you want out of a goalie. And I mean,
this trade would make a lot more sense if he was under contract next year. If he was under contract next year, we would look at this a lot differently. Like, okay, so you were trying to maybe save some money up front, I guess.
Yeah.
You're getting a goalie who's been good the last couple of years on a terrible team. Maybe he's the veteran presence you think you need. And you're getting a third-round pick.
Yeah.
The problem with this is if you don't sign Bernier, it is just the 94th overall pick. And even if you do sign him, it's still a bad look solely because of value. You drafted this kid back in 2014 in the second round.
Yes.
You were patient as hell with this kid because he took a little bit more time than people thought he was going to in terms of
goalies also do have longer timelines than skaters.
They do. They absolutely do, but he still took a hell of a lot longer than a lot of people thought to get to this point. But it paid off. Their patience pays off.
Absolutely.
This kid takes over the starting job, is a Calder finalist.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable season for this kid. Unbelievable season for this kid. This kid looks like the future. You draft this kid in the second. You don't draft goalies in the second round to be.
He's a year and a half older than me. Like that's
you draft kids.
Crazy.
You draft goalies in the second round. You want them to be your starting goalie.
It's weird referring to players as kids when they're only like a couple years older than us. But what the hell? Right.
Yes. Yeah. But,
you know I mean?
but when you draft them, they're kids. That's more so what I mean. In 2014, he was a kid. Yes. So that's more so what I mean. You have so much patience with him. You develop him. It pays incredible dividends this season because of your patience. Mm-hmm. You have an opportunity to get to lock this guy up. He will be your goalie for the next 10 years if you want him to be.
The weirdest...
Thank God your patience has paid off and you trade him for a third round pick.
And rights to a guy you may not even get.
It's just terrible asset management. Look, it's already a bad look that you're trading this kid because you don't really want to pay him. It's the value. That's the problem here. If they traded him for a future first round pick of the Red Wings and it was unprotected and you're just being like, oh, we're betting that the Red Wings are going to suck and we're going to get a really good pick. Mm-hmm. It would be a lot different.
It would be, yeah. And the weird thing to me is like nearly immediately after his rights get traded over,
he signs a contract.
Yeah, he signs a contract for an amazing...
It's 2 years, like $3 million.
Tiny deal.
You couldn't find the money?
But the weird thing is, like...
Because here's the thing. Okay. Isn't that the contract that Bernier's going to get?
Question. So the total money term on his contract's 3, right? Is that what the...
Like $3 million average annual value.
Like, yeah, so like three average. Carolina was only willing to go for
1.5, I heard.
Yeah.
But here's my question. Here's where this becomes
so it's like
really
if it was
confusing to me.
If it was a 1-year deal, it would be basically the same kind of money.
Yeah.
Like
my question though is like you didn't want to forge up the money, but Jonathan Bernier is coming off a 3-year deal where he was making $3 million per year.
Yeah.
And this is the best stretch of his career on a bad Red Wings team. Mm-hmm. Is Jonathan Bernier going to get less than $3 million from the Hurricanes?
I wouldn't ask for it if I'm his agent. I mean, I watched.
So if you're going to sign this guy for more than $3 million, then dude, is you dumb? Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Okay, like Don Waddell is an extremely smart general manager, and we know this because
that's a brain fart. This is a brain fart.
Yeah, it's just a brain fart because wasn't he also like a GM of the Year finalist at least last year?
I'm not sure.
If it wasn't last year, it was like 2 or 3.
Yes, but he is a good GM. There's no doubt about that.
Very good GM.
We talked about this earlier. Good GMs sometimes make bad moves.
Yeah. This is a
head scratcher.
I wouldn't call it a bad move as much as I would call it a strange move.
Yes.
You know?
And it is a strange move that is more than likely going to turn into a bad move.
Because they also, here's the kicker, right? Both Mrazek and Reimer are also up. So you have
you have 3 goalies to choose from. So which one are you going to resign?
You have nobody signed. You, I guess, have technically 3 to choose from unless you want to go out and get the big fish, which is Freddie, which who the hell knows if he's going to want to go there.
Here's the thing. Here's what Jay Ashdown wants to have happen.
Like, do you want Frederick Anderson? Because I don't know.
Here's what I want. Okay. You and I both like Steve Dangle. Okay.
Yes, and there's a reason why
Would it
in
not
both
be?
shows.
Would it not be a Steve Dangle nightmare if the Carolina Hurricanes 2 goalies were James Reimer and Jonathan Bernier? Throw it back, baby.
Okay. Listen, we love you, Steve. We gave you a shout out last show, and we'll probably continue to, because honestly,
Would that not be the freaking funniest thing ever? Those two
like,
being a tandem again.
Let's explain this, right? Because the Artillery podcast, we mentioned Jordan and the guys last episode as well, and Steve's show. Those are the two main influences for us doing this. You know, like,
Yeah,
we love their stuff. We don't want to exactly emulate their stuff, but like, it's an inspiration, right?
I'm just thinking about it, man.
It's just so.
James Reimer and Jonathan Bernier. That's a dream tandem right there.
That's so crazy to me. I want to see it happen. And I want to see it happen.
Dude, I need it so bad. I will pay money to see it.
Okay. Go to the. Are you like looking on their pages or anything?
No, I just have you up right now.
Can you look at Carolina's cap space real quick?
Okay.
Because what I want to know is how much they have in total, so that I can say the weirdest like jab at Steve possible.
So it says here their projected cap space is $29 million.
That's not bad.
Okay, so they
also have
Brock
guys.
McGinn, Jordan Martin, Cedric Paquette are UFAs for forwards. They have Warren Fogle and Andrei Svechnikov, who are RFAs.
You're gonna need to lock those guys.
On defense, Jake Bean is an RFA and Dougie Hamilton. So that makes sense as to why they have so much cap space, because they need to try and find a way to get Dougie
need to lock guys up.
They need to lock up Svechnikov, and then obviously none of their goalies have contracts going into next year.
I think, and then I also think that like McGinn wants to stay. Martinook said he doesn't. Right?
Yeah, Martinook's probably not going to stay. Cedric Paquette, I don't
Maybe
think
not.
Really but Brock McGinn, Warren Fogle, Andrei Svechnikov, I all expect to be back.
Those three would want to, and more than likely are going to try to come back.
Obviously Jake Bean's going to stay because he's an RFA.
Well, yeah.
I think they'll probably keep Yanni Hakanpää. I think they'll probably send him to like a one.
I like Hakanpää. He was cool in Anaheim.
He's a really solid defensive defenseman. I mean, he's not going to give you much offensively, but I like him I like him on the third pair.
I mean, you need stopgap guys because they're defensemen.
Yeah.
Like it's in the name of the position, right? Like
a lot of money on their defense, man. I mean,
then it's
Jacob Slavin, I like a lot. Brett Pesce, I like a lot.
Okay,
but
so
a lot of money tied up into Shea and Gardner. But go ahead.
Here's my point. Wouldn't it be funny to not only have a tandem of Reimer Bernier,
but you also have Jake Gardner on that team.
That too. But sign them for as minimal as they would take.
Oh, of course, that's what you got to do with
But what I'm saying is, give them the friendliest thing possible, just so Steve can look at that page and be like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah. What other former Leafs can haunt him on the Hurricanes?
Oh God.
You can go
trade Kerfoot there for all I care.
Make it trade for Dermott.
Trade for Dermott.
Watch it. Oh my God! Could you imagine the Hurricanes have the goaltending tandem of Bernier and Reimer, and then like their third pairing is Jake Gardner and Travis Dermott.
Oh
God, he would cry.
I love it. And I mean, we vastly love your content, Steve. But man, if we're not gonna poke fun at guys, we don't have a show.
Yeah.
Honestly.
100%.
But yeah, okay. So Nedeljkovic deal. I mean, I like his extension. And it's great for the Red Wings because, I mean...
Stevie I, man, doing that magic.
Stevie I. Steve Azerman. Pulling magic. Right out of a hat like he always does. It's wild. And Don, total brain fart. Seriously, that was exactly... Like, brain fart's the perfect word to describe that.
Yeah.
But yeah, who knows when Tuesday is the 26th. Okay. Or no, 27th. So basically our next show is going to be maybe a little bit quiet unless there's like a few trades. We do have a big story that we didn't get to today because you're sick, and we're going to get to on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then other than that, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
But then in between that is the free agent frenzy. In between our
free
shows
agent
next
frenzy.
week.
And when is the draft?
The actual draft. I mean, we did a preview for it today because the draft is
right.
First round's tomorrow, second through 7th is Saturday.
Okay, that's right. Okay. So yeah, so not only do we have free agent frenzy that we will have to cover, we will also get to cover the draft on Tuesday.
Yeah.
We'll talk about what happened.
The story that we didn't get to today, which, I mean, we're going to keep it secret because it's kind of heavy.
Yes.
So yeah.
I think that's about it.
Little preview for y'all, and thanks for hanging out again, as always. I say as always as if we're like 5 seasons in.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, love the Yotes shirt. I am repping my film buff self. Nice. With some gigawatts. And yeah, we'll be back Tuesday.
All right.
Jake Jackets, a podcast for fifth liners and all puckheads around. Follow the guys on Twitter at Snake Gehringer, GARRINGER, and at by Jay Ashdown. And subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen. March on.